Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are having a great day. Today is April 4th, Tuesday, and we have, as far as data goes, we have at 10 a.m. factory orders and job openings and labor turnover surveys. We will also have Fed Master speech on 6:45 today in the afternoon. Nothing else as far as that goes. We will be having um, Friday we won't be open, so keep that in mind. And um, we'll be trading very lightly. As you guys know, price action yesterday hasn't been the best at open. Um, and so we should expect that for today, especially as we are in a supply at the current moment. So things are looking bearish in my eyes, but with price action, it is looking a little bit tough for movement. So we're gonna double check here. We're gonna look at some possible levels for this trading day. So far, um, as I said, we are in a supply. This is a supply from the past trend when we were up here. We've seen this as a reject spot on the hourly multiple times. We do have another sell spot above it. So if we do end up reaching, they may try to fill this price entirely. So we can keep that in mind when we're trading into today. Just adding 4204 as a possible level of resistance. You got a reject over here and a few right around here. So let's go back into the hour. Let's go and look into what we see today. What are some possible setups? So far, we do know that the trend has been very bullish. After breaking some key levels, we broke our last supply and continued rallying. Following some resistances, as you guys know, we bounced pretty well off these previous levels, and going to be removing this 4137. We ended up continuing. We hit the 4156, rejected in the morning yesterday, and then pushed up and now have a higher gap where we are in supply. 4173 being a price I want to see us reject today. Overall, this whole zone is something I'm bearish in, or at least we'll see chop as we have seen in the past inside of our supplies. It's sort of what we're looking for in this range. So let's look for a reject today for 4173 if we get a morning push. If not, then let's see if we break below that supply and continue to that 4156 where we can try puts. Price target being the overall 4148 to 4146 pre-market or yesterday trend low, so we can probably possibly see some movement there. Let's check SPX. Let's see how we look. So far we know we're bearish here, but SPX also rejecting this 4127 yesterday, which is our high day reject, which also worked well with that 4156 level, which is why we grabbed our put position. Now, if today we do push up, this 4113 was a key spot for me yesterday. We actually ended up rejecting it after falling. I want to see us reject that 4141 level. It's some previous institutional levels that I want to see us get back to, see if there are some sellers at that institutional pricing. Now that 4136 is a weekly close candle or weekly high candle, so I want to see us reject that spot as well. That could be a possible spot for sellers if we do end up pushing today. If we open up and move up to that 4157 to 4187, those prices are just basic resistance levels that we can look into for rejects. But my main idea for today is within these two price ranges for rejection. So let's see how we do react today. As you guys know, we've been fairly bullish since that March, I believe it was 24th, and even so on. Since our last inflection point price hit in March 13th, we hit our 3825 and reject. We hit now our inflection point in March 31st, which was, I believe, Friday close. We touched our inflection point. Now we're looking for a massive trend reversal is what I'm personally looking for. And so we're going to see if we follow that idea in within the next few weeks. Although we are above it, that's all right. But we also do have this whole level of sellers in this price. So we'll see if the market attempts new highs, which is it's going to be pretty tough to do, but it is a possibility, or if we start to see some profit takers from this past trend that we've had for the past few weeks. My best bet out of logic and technically speaking is that we will see some profit taking within the next few days, especially as we get into a 3-day weekend. That is a logical standpoint. But of course, price action for the past few days hasn't been so logical. So we'll see how we react, and we'll trade patiently according to that. But overall, rejects is probably going to be our best risk to reward for today. The call side is very tight. We're going to go into individuals and looking at how the market is lined up with individuals in a moment. But so far, our idea is a reject. It's going to be skimming through UXVY, VIX, nothing crazy there. And now we'll go into individuals. All right, so as you guys know, in our newsletter, we got Apple calls a few weeks ago. Broke out, did well. So now I will be removing this chart, and we're going to be starting to see what we look at. So far, Apple's been very bullish. Now we're sort of approaching this spot where we see massive sellers. We do have up here where we can also expect, project sellers in the future. That also being a possible rejection, 171. And now we also have this spot here, which is also our high here and rejection. These are just key resistance levels, nothing crazy that we're going to look for. So far, I chose that 170 or 166 just off of this resistance here. We got our bounce in this candle wick, 3 rejections there, 1 rejection there, and about a bounce right around here. So we can know that this is a possible key level that we're at, and we're sort of approaching having our pre-market high at, and we can try and form an idea of what can happen at that price. So let's kind of check what we see as far as wedge resistance goes. Yeah, as I assume, we broke the trend. We are extremely bullish. I'm sure the relative strength index is currently pretty strong for Apple. We do have a potential wedge support here. So if we break, we know that the trend from bullish, it could be bearish if we break that small trend there. As far as Apple goes, we know that it's very bullish. We know that it's at a resistance, and with ES also being at a possible supply resistance, Apple is a stock that could be seeing rejections very soon. We're going to go into the hour now and try to find some closer range resistances. Try to see if there's anything worth noting in this price range. I do see a potential resistance there. Not a lot of rejects. Well, I'm gonna mark this one down here. This one, first off, we see a rejection there. We also see a rebound there and a few rejections in the 1 minute or in the smaller candle frames that we can use for an idea of where sellers are active, at least the zone for it, and that's what all that really matters at the moment. Other than that, I'm sure we already broke this bullish side of the trend. We have not. Okay, so this is also good to keep in mind for this week. If we ever get to this price, 166 or 168, this little wedge resistance could be used as a strong sell spot for Apple. And that's good to note for today, because if Apple does have a small rally at open, pushes up about 2 points, then we know where to short that specific stock at, and or the market if it lines up. So yeah, let's have that in mind. I'm gonna move on to Apple. Costco. We've had it bounce retracements. So far, very choppy, although yesterday we did see some relative strength inside of the consumer sector. One stock being Walmart that pushed up, I believe, was about 1 point. And now we're starting to see some rejections before this high. I did break my demand or supply, but now we're starting to hit this resistance that we're at, which is up here. And so we'll see if that's a spot where sellers are going to be active, or if we're going to see some buyers try to push up to that 150 spot. I'm very confident that if we get up to that 150 spot, which is just about 1 point more, sellers are going to be very active there. So I'm going to be looking for some put positions if we get up there. There is money that needs to be leaving the chips or the consumer sector, and we can see it be moved towards possibly chip or EV. We'll see how we do. I think my screen just went down. Give me 1 second. All right, we're back. Okay, so now let's move on to Nvidia. Nvidia, we were looking for an orb yesterday, which is pre-market high, including the previous day high, which is just a nice level to see some buyers push us higher. And so we saw that. We saw the break. We pushed up higher. It looks like we were gapping up pre-market. Now we're going to look for possible retracements, which my next retracement zone is all the way up at that 260 or 286. There is a lot of... We are very strong in chip sector. We have been fairly strong for the past few months, since November or October. We've been pretty bullish. I'm going to mark down this key level here. Just got a rejection here and a possible rejection there. Just going to look for some small prices on the daily that we may see some rejects. Not a lot, to be honest. We do have this wedge support though. We had that yesterday. We're looking for it to break that trend. If it does, then we can start shorting comfortably, and then we'll see if there is anything there. I'm going to leave it here. I'm just going to have that level above to watch. Nothing really else that I'm looking at here. I'm going to move on to AMD and check out how they've been doing. So notice how Nvidia has been fairly strong. We have AMD, which is also in the same sector. AMD is a great stock to watch out for, to hedge or even trade alongside Nvidia for profits. In this case, AMD has been fairly weak or range bounded since rejecting our key level on Thursday of last week. This was Thursday 2 weeks ago. This was our 102.23 supply zone reject that we're looking to short. Worked out perfectly, and now we're sort of just ranging sideways since then. And I want to see us sort of reject this spot throughout the week. If we do ever get up there, we know that the low is down here, the high is up here, which also could be marked as a key level, this high. And overall, I think I see a bull flag. This pre-market high kind of breaks it, but this could be a potential spot where we may see a break and a continuation higher, or a continuation lower and it bounce at 92.92. But yeah, chip sector is something I'm currently not touching till we break supports or we hit supplies. So I'm just going to be leaving AMD and Nvidia there for now. And we'll look at Tesla now. Tesla, we were looking for a bounce off of supply. Looks like it worked out well. Ended up hitting demand, ended up hitting our supply, rejecting, and now we're sort of back into that range between supply and demand. So what are we looking for now that we've been trading sideways at that price? First off, we can try and find possible wedge resistance. Yesterday, as you guys know, we've been fairly weak on Tesla. I believe Green Eyes was scalping it pretty well, as they were really the one stock that was moving in the morning pretty well in the short side of the market. So maybe we can see a continuation today. If we can get a low, it's likely we can see some lows to 187 all the way to 191. Just based off of selling momentum, we may see that. Last time we hit those highs, we've been rejected, so it was very common that we may have seen that today. So I'm going to watch the support today. I may not take it depending on the contracts, and how it looks. Here is Meta. Meta is a stock that is very slow chop up. Broke my retracement. Now we're starting to see it just continue, but I am going to continue watching support, looking for it to reject in the future, or break in the future. Still nothing. We've been very bullish on Meta. So there goes our individual for Meta. We have a gap up here. I doubt we fill. I doubt we get to it. It's gonna be really tough for buyers to push us up there. That's about it for Meta. I don't see much there. All right, we got our Amazon. This one I was looking at yesterday. Amazon broke. Was attempting to break this weekly frame falling wedge. Weekly frame falling wedge was a really strong price to be at. We attempted to break it, and what ended up happening was a massive reject about 1 point below, or yeah, about 50 cents below, and it just brought us down. And keep in mind, yesterday at open, Amazon was the most relatively stronger stock, so we may see the same thing occur today, as we are above that wedged today in the morning. So we may see a little bit of a relative strength movement on Amazon at open, pushing us a little bit higher, and then maybe some profit takers may follow that, bringing us down a little bit. So yeah, we'll keep that in mind for Amazon. I personally will not be trading it, and that's about it. So now I'm just going to skim through the sometimes stocks, look at if I see anything. We talked about Walmart 150 reject as a possibility. SQ, not really a stock I like to touch. Roku's been range bounded for a while. Still not enough good price action for me to be looking at swings or calls. We're going to move on. CVX, that gap up for oil was really well. May continue up towards that 173 today. We're going to see how we react. I do want to see a higher high on oil today. We also have crowd. Looks like we've been starting to sort of squeeze out resistance side of it. Want to see if we, what do we do? I'm just gonna leave that there. We filled the gap. We've been selling pretty well after filling, and sort of above this. 141.66 was a price target for me personally to see really big sellers at. So till we get there, I won't be really trading anything. AMAT, a stock that has been very disciplined when it comes to the supply. I really like to see that happen, and so let's see us reject again and stay below that. That's all we really want, and then finally continue up and push down. So yeah, that's about it for these individuals. SE was relatively strong yesterday. Not a lot I see there either. So yeah, that's about it for me. Make sure to like and subscribe. I'm going to do a really quick recap here before we go. The idea for today is just that 4175 reject. If we can get pushed higher, that's personally a put position for me. If we chop in the morning and we see some momentum loss at around that price, I will be personally looking for puts in the market. Now, this is for the ES idea. Same thing can be said for the SPX idea, except we gotta also pay attention to the levels, because if ES and SPX levels work together, then expect a big move like we did yesterday, which was this price here, work together with our reject at 4156 on ES. So for rejects, as far as SPX goes, we're going to look for 4136 and 4141. That whole range there, we're going to try to spot. Other than that, that is probably it for me. So I hope you guys have a great trading day. Trade smart, trade safe. If you have any questions, you can inbox me and I'll respond. Have a great day, everyone. See y'all.